Good morning, everybody. It is 9 a.m., 18 degrees on this Monday morning, Martin Luther King Day, and also a weather impact alert day. The snow band is up in Niagara County right now, but it will be making its way down to the city, the Southtown Southern Tier, and sticking around for a couple days. Patrick, what's going on?
Yeah, Melissa, unfortunately, I can't hear you, so I think you were talking about the snow in Niagara County. If the director can, my IFB is stuck, so I can't hear programming. Anyway, let's get to it. We've got, again, some light snow flying now, but the steadiest snow has been up towards Niagara County. And eventually that snow band will be drifting southward back towards the city of Buffalo, and that's when it will intensify. We'll take a look at radar, and you can see where that band of snow is. Yeah, right over northern parts of Niagara County. This is really taking a northern jog, but again, that band of snow will begin to settle south, it looks like, as we head towards later this morning and into the afternoon into the city of Buffalo and then eventually into the south towns. But there's that steady snow from Niagara-on-the-Lake, Newfane, Lockport, down towards the falls to about Amherst, and then points south. It's fairly dry, but again, that snow will begin drifting south. In fact, here's a 4 o'clock snapshot with temperatures very cold. And by the way, it'll be quite windy in that snow band. Tomorrow morning, the snow will be south of Buffalo. In fact, there might even be a few peaks of sun, but it will be so cold. And then that lake effect snow band sits over the south towns, it looks like, throughout the day tomorrow. Here is future look in motion. You can see temperatures maybe around 20 today. There's that heavy snow that continues into tonight. And notice that band of snow sits over the south towns and then eventually migrates north again over the city of Buffalo before fading. All right, long range forecast. So some periods of snow and wind tomorrow, snow again on Wednesday with bitter cold temperatures Thursday into Friday, and even colder, Melissa, for the weekend.
Yeah, we're talking single-digit temps and possibly maybe some school closures tomorrow because of the snow and the cold weather as well. This is a live look from our Storm Team 2 Storm Tracker this morning. Our photographer Mike Luksh is driving through Niagara County right now. This is Route 104, which kind of cuts from east to west across Niagara County around Lewiston and the town of Niagara also, but mostly up in Lewiston. And so, yeah, you can see the snow-covered roads. Visibility is okay right now, but we do know, as Patrick said, that because of the gusty winds to up to 50 miles per hour later today, if you're in that snow band and you have those gusty winds, it could be near blizzard-like conditions, near zero visibility and blizzard-like conditions. So be very, very careful. But fortunately, right now here in Niagara County on Route 104, visibility is just fine. But as we mentioned, while that storm band, lake effect snow band is up in Niagara County, it will be moving back down into Erie County and then the southern counties of western New York later today. But in Erie County, there is a travel advisory through Wednesday. That announcement was made by some top county and city leaders yesterday. And Daybreak's Natalie Foss has more from their press conference yesterday when they were explaining how they were prepping for this storm. Natalie?
Well, Melissa, I just got off the phone with a representative from Niagara County, and he said that while they do not currently have a countywide travel advisory or travel ban, it is still important to make sure that you are paying attention while you're on the roads. And it's just a good idea that when there's weather like this, if you have any non-essential travel, to maybe choose to stay home instead. Now, there was an alert that was sent out to people here in Buffalo last night. I got it, woke me right up overnight. That was just essentially warning people to be prepared and to stay off the roads again. And these are the sentiments that Buffalo and Erie County officials were voicing yesterday during their press conference. Again, as we've been talking about all morning, there is that travel advisory here in Erie County. There's also that winter storm warning that's in place through Wednesday for Niagara, Erie, Orleans, Genesee, Chautauqua, Cattaraugus, and Wyoming counties, so most of western New York there. Erie County is encouraging anybody who needs to travel, make sure that your devices are charged, maybe even have one of those portable chargers with you, and that you have a winter weather emergency kit in your car. Additionally, the city of Buffalo is urging people to move their cars to the correct side of the street for alternate parking, which now that it's 9 a.m., most people should already have that in place, just so that plows are able to make their ways through the streets easier when that snow eventually comes, and so they're able to get the streets cleared as fast as possible. Now, Mayor of Buffalo, Sean Ryan, says that the Department of Public Works is ready to take on this storm.
The DPW fleet is ready. We have 40 pieces of equipment ready, over 2,000 tons of salt on hand, 20 plus DPW crews ready and ready to scale up with water, sewer, and parks personnel if the weather gets worse.
The mayor went on to say that the city has 20 contractors available with over 1,000 pieces of equipment to provide that extra help if needed. Now, you want to make sure that you're prepared. Again, the county keeps talking about having that winter emergency kit in your car. That's going to include things like a first aid kit, a blanket that could keep you warm, heat warmers. I was also reading up, and it said that if you keep juice in your car, juice actually has a lower freezing point than bottle of water. So frozen bottle of water won't get you anywhere, but if you are thirsty, a juice box might be a good idea as well. So these are kind of the things to think about if you are going out on the roads today. I know most of us do already have that emergency equipment in our car, but if you don't, then you can head to WGRZ.com, and we have a full list of things that might be a good idea to keep in your car if you are going out, just in case there is any emergency. Melissa.
Yeah, good advice there, Natalie. Thank you. And you can find that full press conference with everything that you need to know right now on demand right here on WGRZ Plus. We also have our 24-hour live stream of our radar there on WGRZ Plus as well. So you can, if you haven't already, download it on your TV and watch for free. Breaking news that we're following this morning, an investigation is underway into a fire that happened in Concord this morning. We got this video into our newsroom earlier this morning. You can see lots of firefighters working in the area of Pine Run in Concord around 5 o'clock this morning. There was smoke coming out of the home. And our photographer on the scene did ask the firefighters if everyone got out of the home safely, and they responded they believe so. So we'll be following up on that to try to get more information about what caused the fire and if anyone was injured. One person is in the hospital this morning, recovery from injuries following a house fire in Buffalo that happened last night around 7:30 on Marigold Avenue. That's near East Amherst Street in Central Park. The battalion chief with the Buffalo Fire Department says that home sustained about $30,000 worth of damage.
Fire was reported on the second floor. Crews got in, extinguished it really quickly.
And with the Red Cross is now helping 2 people. We still don't know the condition of the victim who is in the hospital. And as you see here, firefighters were also helping to save a cat and give that air to the cat that was rescued from the fire. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Buffalo police are looking into whether 2 weekend shootings are connected. One of those shootings was deadly. The first shooting happened on Hampshire Street around 2:30 yesterday morning. Officers reportedly found one man who had been shot in the leg. He was taken to ECMC and he is expected to be okay. Then the other shooting happened about 2 hours later. Officers responded to that shooting on Winter Street. The victim there did not survive. This morning, the Buffalo Fire Department is mourning the loss of one of their own. On Facebook, the department announced that Captain Scott Janowski has passed away. The department extended its deepest condolences to his family and friends and fellow firefighters. Janowski was promoted to the rank of captain in 2022. Before he was a Buffalo firefighter, he started out as a volunteer with Doyle Hose Company No. 2. The department has not released any information regarding how Janowski died. And fire crews were still fighting hot spots at the former St. Anne's School and Church this weekend after that historic building went up in flames early Friday morning. We're told that crews can only take care of those hot spots, though, from outside of the building because there are concerns about sending them inside. It's too dangerous because the building is on the verge of collapse. The city and preservationists are trying to work out who actually owns the building, as records show that the property may have been sold in recent weeks. It's unclear if that sale was finalized. MLK Day of Service in the city has been postponed due to the current travel advisory. A new rescheduled date has yet to be determined. Organizers say it's pretty disappointing because they had over 350 people planning to volunteer at 30 project sites across the city. So we'll keep you updated when we do know about that new date. And even though the Day of Service events won't be happening today in the city, people were gathering last night to honor the late civil rights leader. They gathered at Kleinhans Music Hall. The Concerned Citizens Following the Dream Committee puts on the celebration to honor the late civil rights leader's life and legacy.
that he stood for what was right, and he let God direct his path and lead his footsteps. And he was just what everyone needs to do. He was a great example.
You cannot kill a dream. A dream doesn't die. When he was assassinated, his dream did not die with him. When he was assassinated, his dream was not killed with him. So we will never lose momentum.
And U.S. Congressman James Clyburn of South Carolina was the keynote speaker. Clyburn met Dr. King as a young activist back in the 1960s. Oh, it's tough to talk about it, but we have to, as the Bills' loss continues to linger with the team. Missed opportunities, inconsistent play, and calls that can be debated until the end of time are sitting heavy on Bills Mafia, even just 2 days after the game. To On Your Side's Rob Hackford joins us live in the newsroom this morning with more on the talk across the country and the NFL. Rob?
Yeah, Melissa, whether it was manufactured outrage online, memes, hot takes, or just opinions being expressed in social media, the Bills players acknowledge that they want some things back from this game, and they could have done more to prevent some of this. Arriving back in Buffalo, heads were heavy, emotions low. Very few players walking off the airplane even acknowledged the dozen or so screaming fans that still came out to welcome the team home after this tough loss. Of course, quarterback Josh Allen taking a brunt of the blame here. He played poorly, wiping away tears during his post-game press conference. Allen accounted for 4 of the team's turnovers, including this controversial no-catch interception, a call that All-Pro cornerback Richard Sherman here found surprising. Former quarterback Dan Orlovsky thought should have been a catch, and legendary defensive end J.J. Watt had other questions about. Bills head coach Sean McDermott had his own questions and says he wished the refs spent more time on the play, but that the team left too much out on the field.
It's hard for me to understand why it was ruled the way it was ruled. And if it is ruled that way, then why wasn't it slowed down? Just to make sure that we have this right. That would have made a lot of sense to me.
Just keep your heads up, you know what I mean? It's part of the NFL, you know what I mean? Like I said, you can't really leave it up to the refs, right? I believe every game should be left up to the players and let us go out there and play ball. But it's hard to win in this league, and it's hard to get in the playoffs.
First time being at this level, first time dealing with a loss like that, you know. Me at Kentucky, we didn't really have any playoff wins, playoff chances. So, you know, it's a different feeling. I'm sad that, you know, our season got cut short, and, you know, I'm sad that we couldn't pull it out for our guys, for our vets, like DQ, Joey, you know, guys like that.
You don't really deserve to win, but you certainly set yourself up for a situation where, all right, calls, controversial or not, can determine the outcome. That you put it in the hands of someone else when you don't take control yourself. That was the point Josh Allen was trying to make, or did make, through tears.
Yeah, so some good perspective there. The NFL officiating crew that was working this game has since defended the interception call, saying Cooks needed to maintain control of the ball or make a football move after contacting the ground. The impact of officiating late in such a dynamic game will no doubt be a conversation that will continue through the offseason. But of course, Melissa, this conversation is also as old as sport itself. It certainly is. This will go down as one of the most controversial and disappointing plays that Buffalo sports fans have had to deal with, and we've had a lot of them, but this one won't be forgotten for a long time. Always next year. Right. I feel like we're always saying that. Rob, thank you. And just an update also about how fans are coming through for the team. This just came into the newsroom just moments ago. From Golisano Children's Hospital in Buffalo, formerly Oshai Children's Hospital. They said, though a disappointing outcome and ending to the Buffalo Bills season, Bills fans proved once again that they always find a way to turn a negative into something positive. Shortly after the game ended on Saturday night, Bills fans started to contribute to the Patricia Allen Fund in honor of Josh Allen. So they said as of 8 o'clock this morning, the Patricia Allen Fund has received over 3,300 donations, totaling over $75,000. And many of those donations came with notes of gratitude and empathy for Josh Allen and all he did for the team this season. So yes, Bills Mafia always coming through for the team. Stay with us. We're going to hear more from Vic Carucci about the Bills' loss and the end of the season coming up.
Welcome back. And yeah, it's pretty much settled in for most Bills fans that the season is over now, and it couldn't have ended in a more Billsy way, right? Will this be a wide right or a no goal?
You know, I like what Vic said, is that we shouldn't have gotten to a position. 5 turnovers, you can't win a game.
Right.
However, that play is ruled correctly. We likely get to the 20-yard line, we kick a field goal, we win the game.
Right.
So that is a very Billsy way. You're right. This is up there with 13 seconds. This is up there with, you know, it's...
Yeah, I think 13 seconds is a better comparison.
Right.
Because, yes, wide right was in a Super Bowl, and no
Right.
goal was during the playoffs. And so, but this does feel like another 13 seconds. It's just, this is how it's ending.
Right.
It's just not fair.
Right.
Here is NFL insider Vic Carucci, his take on it when he joined us on Daybreak this morning.
Yeah, well, let's start with this. When you turn the ball over as much as they did, give them those gifts, you don't really deserve to win, but you certainly set yourself up for a situation where, all right, calls, controversial or not, can determine the outcome. That you put it in the hands of someone else when you don't take control yourself. That was the point Josh Allen was trying to make, or did make, through tears.
Yeah, and Vic, the offseason is here suddenly, and the Bills have a lot of names on the defensive side of the ball that are expiring contracts, names like A.J. Epinesa, Matt Milano, Trey White, Shaq Thompson, and the list goes on and on. So what should the Bills prioritize in that unit?
Well, Melissa, for a team that has been on the cusp and is in this, whatever we want to call it, the Super Bowl window, I call it the Josh Allen window, there is going to be some significant change. There has to be. You mentioned about the contracts expiring, and a lot of them on the defensive side. And, you know, you talk about the offensive side. This team needs a major change at wide receiver. I think we can determine Keon Coleman, it didn't work. And the signings that they did in free agency, Mecole Hardman, Brandon Cooks, these were really minor swings at something that needs major attention. And that is going to be the priority, I think, going into this offseason. Certainly defensively, once again, pass rush, a question mark, an issue, and really throughout the roster. So you're going to see more new faces, I think more changes, and then a big change, the retirement of Aaron Kromer, the offensive line coach. That's a blow. That can't be minimized. He did an amazing job to get that offensive line to the level it was to help James Cook be the rushing champion. And even though Josh was sacked a career high 40 times, it still did a really good job. But the fact that Aaron Kromer has chosen now to walk away from this just makes you think a little bit about where this is going from here, because I think this is going to be a fascinating offseason.
Yeah, Vic, do you think he saw the writing on the wall? I mean, because 9 years under Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott, and a lot of these coaching decisions, a lot of the personnel decisions, those are coming under the microscope. Is it time for the Pegulas to consider moving on, or at least shaking things up?
I think it is time, Pete, for hard discussions. And frankly, from what I'm hearing, those have been going on for the last several weeks in terms of the state of this roster, what needs to be better going forward with this roster to get it to the Super Bowl. They were, you could argue, they weren't a Super Bowl ready team, even though, again, we know it was a winnable game against the Broncos, and even though after watching the Patriots and Texans turn the ball over both ways, it was hard to think the Bills wouldn't win the AFC Championship game and be in the Super Bowl. Well, this is all gone now, and you have to focus on putting your team in the best position to get there. You know, to think that opportunities are always going to be there to go the distance, that's unrealistic. Things change, circumstances change, and the playoff field was set up for Josh Allen to dominate for sure. He didn't. I mean, he played a terrible game. And when that happens, all it does is now set the stage for you to maybe hit a reset button. But if serious conversations aren't going on between Terry Pegula, Sean McDermott, and Brandon Beane, and I expect they will, you know, that would be a shock.
And Vic, in just like a 10-second answer, in your opinion, after looking at it over and over and over again, the Brandon Cooks interception wasn't an interception.
It could go either way, Melissa, real quickly. Music City Miracle, do you remember that one in Tennessee?
Yeah.
There were professors at Rochester studying it, to say it was, and Wade Phillips, the coach at the time, insists it was a forward lateral.
And this might be one that not only Bills fans and players and coaches study, but the entire NFL.
Yeah, and Brett Hull's skate was in the crease.
Right.
All right, thanks very much, Vic.
Vic, thank you. Okay, that conversation happening at 6 a.m. with Vic. We are bringing you breaking news right now here on Daybreak that according to Ian Rappaport, he is saying that the Bills have fired Sean McDermott. The tweet came out 4 minutes ago from Ian Rappaport saying the Bills are moving on from coach Sean McDermott after their loss in the divisional round to the Broncos, per the insiders. And I'm just in utter shock.
I'm in utter shock. Vic said something needed to be shook up, but he's taken the Bills to the playoffs for 9 straight seasons, right? 8 straight seasons.
And this was out of his hands.
Right.
It wasn't like he could make a challenge and chose not to.
And he couldn't pick the players that he necessarily wanted. If that's, he didn't design the roster. And it wasn't his. Yeah, okay. So if that play goes the other way, does he still have a job?
Right.
This is crazy. I am in shock.
I'm in shock too. And now you wonder, is Brandon Beane also on the line? But the team has had such McDermott's records of wins and losses over his time with the team.
Right.
He's so good.
He's one of the most again, he's never made it beyond the AFC Championship. We know that. But in terms of his win-loss record, the amount of times he's gone to the playoffs, what he did to this team to turn it around.
The respect that the players have also. Think about the beginning of this season. We were watching the HBO show about getting the team ready for this season and how beloved he was. All because of this? I'm shocked.
Is there any other?
I wonder if there are things behind the scenes conversations that we don't know about.
Right. I'm just seeing if Brandon Beane is a part of this.
Yeah. So Sean McDermott came out right after the game and went and spoke with the media, as he always does at the podium, and was a little unsure to call out the NFL officials about the decision. And then he went and reviewed the tape again ended up calling the Buffalo News and said, I'm standing up for Buffalo, I'm standing up for the fans and the team and saying this was wrong.
Right.
And so he was mad about it.
And he was emotional. You could see it in his. Yeah. Again, it's so hard to process this. I cannot. And it's not fake. We're seeing multiple reports now.
And with so many of the Bills' losses this season, I don't think I came out of a lot of them and said that was a coaching mistake.
Right.
Sometimes I was saying that maybe this is a Joe Brady mistake,
right,
but not necessarily a Sean McDermott mistake.
I thought this was one of his best coaching seasons. Think of what he's done with very little, right? This is probably their least talented roster they've had in his tenure, and he took them to where they ended,
Yeah, I think utter shock is what everyone in Buffalo is feeling right now about this McDermott loss. And as if it didn't hurt enough that they lost, now I don't think anyone's happy. I don't know. I still have to see what Twitterverse is saying right now. But is anyone actually happy that Sean McDermott loses his job over this? I can't imagine.
No.
All right. We've got a lot more to talk about, and we will do that coming up after the break. And we'll also hear, of course, from our sports team on Channel 2 News midday at 11 a.m. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everyone. We are still kind of in utter shock over this Sean McDermott firing, and we did just talk to Vic Carucci on the phone. He said he called Sean McDermott's agent. It did get it confirmed because originally it was Ian Rappaport who was confirming it per the insiders and sources, and so now Vic Carucci has confirmed. He spoke with McDermott's agent. McDermott has been fired. There are so many questions surrounding why and who and how and when and what actually went down. And so we will hear from Vic Carucci. He's going to be working his sources, and we will have him live at 11 a.m. on our Channel 2 newscast, our midday newscast, to speak with him about what actually happened and whether this was deserving. Vic can give us his input and insight.
He established the culture, the process, right? Everything that defines this team was kind of his creation.
And developed Josh Allen
Yes.
into an MVP.
Right.
He is responsible for developing this team, building the culture, and letting the Bills have so many winning seasons and playoff runs. It's sad to see. And you know what? He was also a really good guy.
And he's got his family here. I mean, that's looking outside of football, but yeah, he's got kids and they live in Orchard Park. And
So on behalf of all Bills Mafia, I think we should thank Sean McDermott
100%.
for his run here in Buffalo. And who will take over? There are so many head coach openings throughout the NFL. So many unanswered questions, and I guess we can just say this is going to be a very interesting offseason for the Buffalo Bills.
Wow.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.